Testing. Microphone check. Testing. 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 Okay. Hello. Welcome to my second stream for the day. I just noticed earlier that there was a magnitude 5.0 earthquake in the South Shetland Islands, and that is the region that we were actually looking at the other day, specifically that region because it had massive spiraling, rotating icebergs floating around it. So these icebergs can move fast, so it might not have been the one that we're looking at, but there's a good chance. These things move fast. It's ice, moving on even slippery ice, covered by snow. This stuff moves. Anybody that doesn't think that an iceberg that's 4 times as large as the largest house that they've ever seen in their life can move so fast that you wouldn't even notice it in the night? Now, this is... I always remember this point here as Deception Island, this island here. This makes up all of the South Shetland Islands system chain. Let me pull up the USGS earthquake map. Do not see it on here. So what we'll do is we'll pull up another version here. So at the very tip of the South Shetland Islands, the rest of the islands go here, and there is a spot. Huh. I just realized that my camera wasn't on. At least my microphone was on, so we have that. But my gesturing, my wild gesturing, that's there's no saving that because it's gone. Camera wasn't on, the light wasn't on. I should have known. But anyway, South Shetland Islands, Antarctica. So we'll remember that. It's at the very tip of the South Shetland Islands. That'd be right here. You'd be surprised on what we can find by just laying out satellite and letting it go through. Oh, there's something there. It's cloud obstructed. Now, this is interesting here. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly. This will show us right here is what we're looking at. Focusing. We're looking for any kind of redness, any kind of temperature variations in this area of South Shetland Islands between Antarctica and the Falkland Islands. Play. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's the third. Only 3 days ago. That is literally going across the South Shetland Islands. Literally going across the exact area. So This could be sea ice induced earthquake. This could be, a very large ice shelf collapsing that bonks the ground. But Antarctica isn't exactly what we thought it was. It's not this giant frozen continent, but it's a lot of frozen islands stuck together. Climate change is causing these split and separate in record amount of time. And seeing earthquakes in Antarctica, especially a 5.0, that would be one hell of an event. I rarely ever see anything come out of Antarctica at all. So seeing a 5.0 earthquake in the same area that we were looking at were some very troublesome icebergs, which we'll get into, which we will look at, watch them float, and see if any of them come anywhere near the South Shetland Islands. This is also the Larsen B ice shelf as well. I can't remember now. I never use the names of that, like trying to identify it, because it's different looking out on the bottom of the map here, and whenever the orthograph is just of Antarctica alone, way different. So let's push play. So it definitely looked like there was an event here on the 3rd, and it. Let's take a look. Actually, let's see if we can. Take a look to see if we can see any waves. Yeah. Something here. Look at this big ass iceberg. This thing is massive. That is not a piece of the island. That is not a piece. That is an iceberg. And this is literally right where the spot was for the earthquake. I'm not pulling at straws here. Some landslides and other events can cause registers of on a seismogram. But you know what would also cause a 5.0 earthquake? Goddamn iceberg slamming into an island that has scientific instruments on it. This is massive. You can see where it's leaking out. A lot of fresh water that leaks out of these things. It's the largest collection of fresh water, largest collection of fresh water on the planet. If this melts down, that's it. Antarctica has the tallest peaks in the world as well. That water would be coming down rapidly. 5.0 earthquake. I'm good. Okay, so there's the little famous Deception Island. It's called that because its name, Deception Island. Livingston Island. Oh, these islands should be named after penguins. So it'd be right here, Clarence Island. Let's make a time lapse of this area and see if we can see anything floating around that's hazardous. Yeah, that big ass iceberg is pretty hazardous, I'll tell you that. That thing is scooting along, damn. Let me uncheck some of these photos. Let me go through this again. So, here's this big ass iceberg right here. And what happens is that when this thing turns around, its huge wake from turning and rotating is creating this negative wake in the water. And all of this water is going to take more time to freeze because it took that much more off the surface. It displaced water. It broke apart sea ice. These giant, massive. Let me get a measurement on this. I'll tell you, this thing is a monster. And if I can imagine anything happening with an iceberg, it's that it slams into an island causing earthquake. Tell me what happens when an iceberg that's 77 kilometers from side to side. That's 3,600 square kilometers. This isn't even zoomed in all the way yet. This crack alone, this fracture line up here, is 20 kilometers. 20 kilometers are like 13 miles. It is huge. And this thing is rotating. And it's rotating in the way that this is going to start coming apart like an arm. It's going to start breaking apart like this. And that right there would be like A67-2 or some weird numbering system they have for icebergs. Look at the size of it. Look at it. Just this thing is floating around a bunch of islands, the same islands that are just reporting a 5.0 magnitude earthquake. This is probably the reason why this giant ass iceberg hitting an island that is full of scientific information. I can imagine this thing pulling up like the Titanic. It is literally right there too. Like this is where the 5.0 earthquake, we were just looking at it. This is where that 5.0 earthquake was just reported at. And then right below it is a big ass iceberg. This thing is going to rotate up. Let's say that the ground is like this. And this iceberg is and it shears here. Chews this out, causing an undersea, a submarine landslide. These are real extreme events that we're looking at. Let's see if it goes any further. right there. Coming. That you can see its side. It's like this. You can see the back side of it. You can see the back side of the iceberg right here. That is, so it's not fractured in the way that it's just lying on top of it fractured. So it's not lying it like this. It's fractured on top. See, like, and further, I'll zoom in further there later. On the 14th. Maybe it ran aground, but look at this. It's a very, very, very violent turn. We'll know more about this tomorrow. This thing, pretty wild. Stops moving and on the ground probably. This thing is too big to ignore, and it's literally just south of the area that had an earthquake today. And this is from the third. This frame. This frame right here. From the third. So if that's from the third, let's see. Need to go look at daily. Pull up Sentinel 3 if anything. Be cloud obstructed. See, that's it right there. Like the exact edge. Cloud, if cloud obstructions here, be able to see something. Is that it? That's it right there. That's it right there. Looks like it's. I don't know if you can see this right here. This arm, like it's being pulled out. So it could be parts of the iceberg falling that fell on an island that had scientific equipment on. But this is like really, really precise on where this earthquake happened. Looks like an iceberg is having an event right now. Being torn apart. Not moving though. Stuck. It's so massive. 70 kilometers. So let's look at all the evidence. Yeah, on Sunday. An anomaly here. Sea ice concentration is looking worse. Looking. This iceberg right here. Impressive. Giant. No more later. Short hours. The iceberg went. Well as keeping up on the wildfires going on in Australia right now. Very smoke. Incredibly. But Australia will have to wait until more satellite data to ascertain. That just see here. Oh, the shape. Check Gibbs. Not gonna get any. Not gonna get any more recent than that. Incredible. A really huge iceberg, and this is part of Antarctica, rotating. Was This is a wild iceberg, and it is just south of where this 5.0 earthquake happened in Antarctica. I don't see pieces of it coming off. I don't see anything all day. Massive. Has a site set for the islands. That's Deception Island over the bottom. 9 iceberg around. Again, we'll look at the iceberg. I'm using grayscale. Quick. Massive. Great. Third two. I left these. Sorry about that. For real. It's 116 kilometers from the epicenter of that earthquake. That's just 1.5 times the length of this. Material could have came out of this, something tubular, a dike could have came off this bottom. A lot can happen. Why we're looking, why we're thinking about it and talking about it. Because a lot is happening. This thing is just extremely massive. If I can go back a little bit further to see. Oh, here's the top. Dates. Incredible. Icebergs down here. They're also 35 kilometer. Your shape on this too. 3 kilometers diagonally. Really impressive. Okay, well, that's all that I have for now. Passing check. Lima. That is Landsat in Mosaic of Antarctica. Let's not see that body is not being taken. Not the image isn't putting in island is taking. Uh, please like and subscribe if you have. I am going to look at Australia. Sun gets out more. See where the wildfires, Queensland, because a lot of smoke right now. A lot of smoke. Might be higher than it is building level, which is like a quality sense. Not like Australia has an ear. Two in Northern Territory. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care.